How to power snatch more. Today we talk about how to power snatch more, different strategies and tactics that will allow you to power snatch more weight, and a hack that will immediately allow you to power snatch more. How to power snatch more? Pretty simple, just do one more set. No, on a serious note, probably when we're talking about power snatching more, then we talk about power snatching more weight. There are two ways to power snatch more weight. One is to get stronger, and the other one is to become better in the power snatch technique. So improving the technical proficiency. This is also my preferred option, because most of the times the power snatch is such a not most of the time the power snatch is such a technical lift. The power snatch is such a technical lift, and most people struggle with the power snatch technique. And if you are able to improve the power snatch technique, you'll see improvements in the weight pretty quickly. On the other side, because it's such a technical exercise, if you get stronger, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will power snatch more, because if there are technical flaws, you can be as strong as you want. It does not always transfer into the technique of the power snatch or in general the Olympic lifts. Okay, so let's look at some fixes. How can we power snatch more? Let's start in reverse order. We start with the long-term fix, and we go to the intermediate fix, and the quick fix is the hack in the end. So the long-term fix, I already touched on that before, is improving your power snatch technique and or getting stronger. How do you improve your power snatch technique? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Obviously, you need to look at your technique and then see what the weak spots are and apply these weak spots, the technical flaws, and improve these technical flaws. How do you get stronger? Well, it's also time-consuming. It takes effort and time you need to put in, and a structured plan. How do you get stronger, especially for the power snatch? Well, you need to look at exercises that have a high transfer to the power snatch. That could be pulling from the ground, that can be overhead squats. There are a variety of exercises that will have an immediate transfer to the power snatch. And if you get stronger in these exercises, you probably get stronger in the power snatch as well, and you'll be able to power snatch more weight. An intermediate fix is, for example, having a routine. A routine means the way you approach the lift, the power snatch in this example. One of the easiest things within a routine is to fill the time between the sets properly. What means properly? Well, I see too often people chatting, people sitting on the phone, texting, whatsoever, between the sets. If you reduce or even remove these disturbances, there is a very good chance that you'll be able to power snatch more immediately within a few training sessions. There's an interesting research that looked at posture, and this research basically found out that if you have a posture that is open, that increases hormonal levels, especially testosterone. On the flip side, if you have a posture where you are hunched over, that decreases testosterone and increases the stress hormones. So what does that mean for us? So obviously, if you are interested in lifting more weight, being more explosive, you need to have high or higher levels of testosterone. And you don't really want to have these high cortisol levels. So by sitting hunched over, you're giving yourself a better chance to have higher cortisol levels. So that's not what you want. If you are able to be upright and just fill the time properly, that will help you. So where does that research come from? Well, I should have looked it up. It's one of the most famous TED Talks. So if you look at TED Talks, and I think it's Cheryl something. Well, I need to look that up for you guys. Anyway, Interesting TED Talk. Feel free to check it out. I will put the link into the description. So what are quick fixes? What are the hacks? That's what we want, right? We want to have a quick fix to power snatch more. One of the quick fixes is obviously coaching, so the coach's eye. So if the coach is able to pick out where it goes wrong and give proper feedback, proper cueing, that can be a quick fix. I like to use video feedback, for example, so I film it on the tablet or on the phone and then show it to the athlete immediately, and most of the times that works well if the athlete is able to absorb the information and then also put it into practice. One of the quick fixes that is not often used is breathing and controlling your breathing pattern. Why? What does that mean? How is breathing related to power snatching more? Let me explain. So, we have our nervous system and we have the so-called autonomic nervous system. And within this autonomic nervous system, we have two opposing nervous systems. We have the sympathetic nervous system, which is also called fight or flight, and we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is also called rest and digest. So how can that help us? Well, as I outlined, breathing can influence one or the other nervous system. So if you think of it as a scale, if the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, the sympathetic nervous system is down, and if the sympathetic nervous system is activated, the parasympathetic nervous system is down. To make a long story short, immediately after the set, we want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system because it helps us to relax. Immediately before the set, we want to activate the sympathetic nervous system because it pushes us up. How do you do that? Yeah, that's a good question, and it's probably scope for a different video because it's quite intense. It's not intense, but it needs more time to explain. Anyway, make a long story short, activating the parasympathetic nervous system that helps you to relax. You have to do the so-called diaphragmatic breathing, which means you breathe into the stomach, breathing in deeply and breathing out. There are different strategies. There is the so-called box breathing, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds. Yeah, so it's kind of a box, 4, 4, 4, 4. There are other ways. They all follow the same principle. For example, you breathe in for 5 seconds, you hold for another 5, and you breathe out for 5 to 8 seconds. Yeah, so the idea is clear. Breathing in, hold your breath, breathing out. All controlled and deep breathing. So how do you activate the sympathetic nervous system? So pretty obvious, if the parasympathetic nervous system is activated by breathing in deeply, the sympathetic nervous system is activated with more shallow breathing. And this is what definitely requires a bit more practice. Yeah? So you don't want to breathe into the stomach, you want to breathe more into the chest and shallow. And what that does, again, it activates the sympathetic nervous system, which gives you energy in the short term. A word of caution here, you don't want to overdo it because that shallow breathing is also associated with hyperventilation. So you need to practice that and you need to find out how much you actually need that gives you a response, and not more than that, because it can go the wrong way. To wrap it up, how to power snatch more? Well, we have quick fixes, intermediate fixes, and long-term fixes. Quick fixes being a correction and having the right breathing technique between the sets, so immediately after the set and approaching the next set. Intermediate fixes, a mental preparation, and also filling the time between the sets properly and effectively. And the long-term fixes, work on your power snatch technique, find out what the weakest spots are, train these weakest spots, and become stronger.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, you can come over to the website for every topic that I'm covering here. There is the video, so why should you go if the video, you've already seen it here. But there's an article to that video, and that article is more in-depth than what I'm covering here. So feel free to check it out. As usual, if you like the video, like everyone else does, like the video below, leave a comment, whatever. If you don't do it, it's also okay. And if you want me to clarify anything that I have not covered in the video, please leave it as a comment. I do my best to answer it. And also, if you have any topics you want me to cover, you can also leave a comment, and I will do my utmost best to cover it in a separate video. Thanks again.